So they elect to pass there on the two-point try. Sometimes could prove risky. There it worked out.
Yeah, and I love how you bring up that it can prove risky, because if you get it intercepted and they return it, that's 2 points for the defense, but not on that play.
Lamar Miller sometimes sets the table.
And he's at his best when the number of carries for him approaches 20 with his speed. David Harris is a playmaker inside linebacker and also one of the most durable guys in the league. I think the thing that impresses me most about Brandon Marshall is his strength. Runs his routes, wins against defensive backs downfield, how it's so tough to keep him from getting the football. Let's just go ahead and go back through that play with his eyes, because he's got to read his keys. Run or pass right off the top. You're probably going to read an offensive lineman to see if he sets up in pass protection, if he fires out for a running play. The next thing is you're going to check and see what the back's going to do. And if he ends up with the football, okay, now you got to check and see, does an offensive lineman come downfield and try and block you? Are you going to try to elude him? Are you going to take him on and hold your spot? What are you going to do? In this case, didn't have to do any of that. Saw all of his keys, saw the play in front of him, and ran clean to the ball carrier and finished off the play.
He's thrown for a touchdown pass, and he's run for one so far.
When you're able to watch a guy perform at a high level and do it in multiple ways, arm, legs, he really helps his team in a big way. Got to think that they feel great about where they are in this ball game, and they feel even better about him leading their team.
Now he's hoping to put them into a better spot this drive.
Now, that's the kind of return you're looking for. To get it to that spot on the field, that allows you to do a lot of things on offense. My high school coach, John Ford, used to say all the time, if you're in a bad situation, don't compound it with a bad decision as well. And I think that's what we just saw there. Harassed in the pocket, and he throws into double coverage anyway.
He called you Laddie?
He called me Laddie. That was the nicest thing he called me.
And the numbers show the improvement, and this is kind of what we thought we would expect to see from him. I know we overanalyze these things sometimes, but what flipped that switch?
Sometimes I think when you're as great as he is, you just kind of roll out each game and expect good things to happen. And that's not always the case. Those guys on the other side of the ball, they're the NFL 2 for a reason. So maybe at halftime he gets a chance to regroup, kind of get it back together, get a little extra resolve, putting it into practice.
There is a reason that they say Revis Island is in the vicinity of this guy. That's why.
It's obviously where receivers run routes, but none of them very successfully. And right now there's another head coach asking his offensive coordinator, don't throw it to that guy. One of the so-called guys putting the pressure on. That was a strong safety. When I was in college, we often called that a lightning blitz.
They try to make it a 2-score game with a conversion. It pays off.
And they've looked at the situation, figured it out well. A 2-score game in this situation, they've got to feel much better about where they are.
So a teammate picking him up there, that was nearly disaster.
And the way that you coach these things, you want to make sure you have eyes towards the return guy, because you want to make sure that the catch is secured. A lot of teams do that. They have at least one guy. You're responsible for making sure he secures the catch. He's not always the one that makes the recovery, but he can always sound out the alarm. Ball's on the ground. We've got to get it back.
You just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.